Over 500,000 graduates annually leave institutions of higher learning armed with the hope of finding a job. They knock at doors that very often fail to open. They knock nonetheless. They wait, and wait for so long before Lady Luck plays its role. But as Treasury paints a rosy picture of a growing economy, we ask where the jobs are. Good morning and welcome to Midweek. I am Abu Bakr Abdullahi, a 2-hour show that sets your agenda as our agenda. Our reporters as well are covering different areas of stories. Tony Mwirigi is covering a story on the formation of multi-sectorial agency on food security. Joash Onsare is following up on pastoral communities who today are presenting a petition demanding for the implementation of the Community Land Act. Remember, the Community Land Act came into play in 2016. Good morning and welcome to Midweek. But to set the pace for this discussion, take a look at this.
Majina naitwa Aiko kutokea mtaa na ningesema kwamba kuna ile challenges ambazo tunaface kama youth tunapotaka kwa mfano kuna issue ya kutoaminika. Sasa hivi youth wengi nchini tunaonekana ni kama hatuna experience. Wanasema education system ya sasa hivi haituprepare vizuri for the job market. Sasa employers wengi hawezi to trust na kutupea kazi. Nationally naona kuna hii stuff ya gava hata haipeani good example to employers. Kwa mfano utapata gava ina employ mtu wa 90 years. For example ungepata hata Mudiaori mtu wa 90 years ana chair sports fund na ni kitu na youth sasa tunaona hata employer hawezi kuwa na moyo wa kuemploy mtu wa 18 years, mtu wa 20 years. Alafu tena ukikompare sasa na kitambo hata mtu angesikia huyo mtu amefanya degree ilikuwa ina speak volumes, but currently ani wanaona tu ni kama kitu kingine tu.
My name is David Nagila from Comarock. So as a youth, zile challenges Kenya naona ni main problem na story ya unemployment ni first education system yetu, like it's not that helpful na the current job market sai, since in school we equipped with the theory part. Most schools hazina story the practical part, so one ukienda kwa job market you're not baked enough. Then secondly ni story hapo tu bado kwa story ya chuo. Na feel ni kama shule haikuprepare enough. Tunafunzwa tu kupewa the basic job skills. Waniambia story ya profession, waniambia story ya talent yangu, waniambia story ya anything extra that I have ya job market. So we are all relying on papers. Na hizi jobs are white collar, they're not hakuna malizima iko enough for all of us. So we are all relying on white collar jobs na si haziko enough for everyone. So na feel ni kama education system yetu inafaa change in a way that we push more of push more talents na hobbies, so that at least job market widen up. Yeah.
I'm Obegi Ian from Langata, and as a youth we face so many problems. First of all is like the job market and all. Like you find like in procurement in the tenders, you find that the youth section provided for the youth. When you apply, like you are disallowed, even don't go to the next stage. And even if you get it, getting a loan from the bank would be like hectic and all. So unabaki ma youth, unabaki tu chini, mnakaa mjangalia. So unaanza kusema mambo stories zingine, unaanza hata mambo kuiba and all, because lack of job inawasumbua. And you find that kuna inadequate teachers, inadequate doctors. Unashanga umesoma utaenda wapi sasa nayo. You know, it's katika youth.
My name is Sungu Simon, natoka South B. Ka youth naona my biggest challenge kwa kupata job for starters ni hiyo essence ya watu wanataka experience, of which na feel kani nimesoma 4 years, hiyo ni experience nilikuwa natafuta. Ndio maana niko na hiyo skills, ndio maana nimesoma, ndio maana najua hizo vitu zingine. But bado mtu atakwambia anataka 4 years experience. So na hiyo experience inafaa kutoka wapi? Of which ukipita hiyo hurdle bado utaambiwa kuja na good conduct, hiyo ni thao unalipia, unaambiwa clearance ya help, hiyo ni 15 so siget on expect mtu atoe wapi hizi do 15 thao tena CRB. Hizi do zinatoka wapi kama hauna job? Almost kila like constantly ukiangalia like kila month utasikia this week kuna place mayouth wanapatia job, ini offer mayouth. Na ukweli mimi uzitafuta. Mimi na maboys wangu na wase najua si uzitafuta. Sasa mimi sijui kani si mimi na watu najua ndo tupatangi hizi job cause mimi na feel ni kani PR cause tumezitafuta, tumeziapply. Sijaitwa, sijui mtu ashaitwa. So sijui watu gani wito hizi job. So na feel wanaweza tusavia time pia wasipotuitia hizi job kama initially hatuendi kupata hizi job. Juu unaenda kumake effort, kuprint hizo ma CV, kuenda hadi huko kuzipeleka na eventually wanajua hata kupatia job. Na feel hizo ni hurdles kubwa sana tuna face.
Inaitwa Brian Mwenda, nimetoka ya Kawa West. So I think ile issue big sasa tuna face kama youths ni issue ya pay. Sasa tukisema kama wewe kama employer ukiangalia hesabu yako unaangalia in terms of profits, lakini sasa kupata hizo profits unaangalia kuna wase tu utatumia, si uangalie venye mse anaishi imta, unaangalia tu venye atakusaidia kupata hizo profits. So wase wengi sasa 2 years of experience wase wanaweza fanya community staff na hizo vitu zote, lakini pia maisha pia inaendelea, mse anataka bado kurudi home ajitafutie food, of which hizi issues zenye hatuwezi kata. So wasi kufanya hizo vitu za free at some point imekuwa ngumu. Alafu ukikataa pia uko juu, experience ni issue nyingine lazima utakuwa nayo. And then pia ukitoka sako for more employment ukienda kuanzisha busy yako kama mwenyewe imekuwa ngumu sana, kwa sababu at some point tuseme capital yetu imekuwa ngumu. Tukisema tuenda kuomba do huko kwa gava, lazima ukue iko na requirements mob sana. Hizi nipatia do kama mwenyewe, lazima tukue group, sijui lazima requirements mob sana. Kuanzisha busy imekuwa ngumu. Poor pay, I think ni issue pia ina to affect sana. So I think I wish ninge wish pia gava it reduce ya pia do pia intellectual property, trademark, kutafuta trademark siku hizi ni karibu 12k. Hizo copyrights do mob sana. At the same time si ndo tunahitaji kutoa hiyo do hatuna maze. Yeah, so I think gava pia angalia story. Yeah, thank you.
Well, those concerns set the pace for our discussion today in studio. The topic of discussion being the unemployment crisis. Is there a crisis at all? Remember, you can be part of this conversation. Leave us a message, your comments, share with us your thoughts on the numbers and the number down on your screen, plus our Twitter handle that will shortly scroll on your screen. Joining me in studio are two of my guests, Daniel Kibet, to my immediate left, who is the director, executive director of Ubuntu Vijana Foundation, and Geraldine Mwiruri, who is the founder, Mommy's Touch, and a Kiambu youth leader. Ladies and gentlemen, many thanks for making time for us this morning.
Thank you so much.
To get us into this discussion, the very title and definition of a youth is a hugely contested term.
Yeah.
The International Labour Organization, ILO, defines youth as a person aged or people aged between 15 to 24. The United Nations uses the same category of 15 to 24. The African Union, in its African Youth chapter, describes a youth as a person who is between the ages of 15 to 35. Despite the discrepancies in the age, who in your view, Daniel, is a youth in the first place?
For me, I'll take the African Union, between 15 to 35 years of age. But also, we need to come up with a clear-cut difference between a youth and being youthful. Mm-hmm. Anyone can be youthful. Even our president is youthful, our deputy president is youthful, but the youths are between the ages of 15 to 35. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Geraldine, your thoughts as well on the same question?
Oh, well, I agree with him, between the ages of 15 to 35, because being a youth is that transition between childhood to adulthood to maturity. And so that period in between, that's the youth age. And as he has said, we have to differentiate between the youth themselves and being youthful, because youthfulness is the vigor, the spirit, the energy. So we may have people who are beyond the youth age gap, but are youthful. So
and are we conflating between the two, between someone who is a youth and someone who is youthful?
Yeah, I think we are, especially the guys who do the statistics of our country, because when they say the economy is growing, probably they are focusing on the youthful aspect, whereby they are seeing people who are a bit energetic, vibrant, they are working, they are doing a lot of things, they are running a lot of SMEs, but the youths who are between the age of 15 to 35, they can't run a business, a successful SME. They're not employed. So there's that discrepancy that's bringing a lot of tension in the country.
And just to set the pace still for this discussion, the topic of discussion is the unemployment crisis. First of all, from your point of view, is there a crisis?
Yeah, there is. There's a crisis. The reason why there's a crisis, if you watched, there's a recent job advertisement that was done by Eka Hotel.
Yes.
For waiters, about 10 waiters. But the number of people who flocked into the hotel were about 100,000 for just waiters. And people who applied were people with masters, people who are almost trying to do PhDs, and then they're applying for waitress job. That's a crisis. But also, it's not a crisis that we can't avoid. The problem is our education sector is a bit focused on one direction, rather than focusing on multi-channels where it will help our youths grow. Because, you know, our education system is focusing on only white-collar jobs. As a country...
That you go to school to get a job that you have to wear.
Yeah, even our parents, they have that mentality, whereby I remember I personally was arguing with my mom. She didn't understand why I'm leaving school and directly going into a job market where I'm creating my own business. She wanted to finish my actuarial science degree and then directly get employed. So that's a mentality that we have as a country, and that we need to evade from that mentality.
We'll get to the education sector and the policies, of course, the funds a little bit later. But Geraldine, the crisis that we talk of, what in your view is the genesis of this crisis?
For me, I think, first of all, it's the whole classification of who are the youth, who are not. And then again, we, as a country, we see the youth as a nuisance who need to find their way around getting jobs. And then we keep telling them to create their own jobs and to be entrepreneurs, whereas we do not have the correct structures to support them do this type of business.
But shouldn't the youth as well be aggressive to find their own jobs?
They should, but not everyone is an entrepreneur. We have to have those who are in the employment sector, and we still have to have those who are entrepreneurs. But as a nation, we want to say that youths should create their own space and be entrepreneurs. And when you see people who are searching for jobs, then we start saying they should start low. And then this creates the impression that they go into the informal type of business, whereas in this informal sector, even the private and the public sector do not support it as much as it should be. And so you find there are no structures for them to grow and thrive, and yet we are still expecting them to be entrepreneurs.
David, let me get your thoughts on this, that many a times in this unemployment crisis, fingers are pointed to the government for very obvious reasons, be it genuine or not. Is the government, or should the government be the sole creator of opportunities for young people?
No, on my own angle, I don't think the government is the sole creator of that. Because you see, I always tell my youths that I mentor, the government owes you nothing. It's upon you to be aggressive, where there's a problem, create a solution. But the government also should try and create an enabling environment whereby if I start an SME or a startup, it can grow on that or accelerate to another level. That's what the government is missing.
And statistics as of now show that SMEs run by the youth die within the first 2 to 3 years.
Because there's no enabling. If I'm paying 35% of corporate tax each and every time that I'm doing my returns, then how will I grow?
Then how do the youth grow?
Not even that. Not even the tax bit. Registering it in itself, you almost need around 10,000 to 15,000 shillings. Where do you get this starting capital to register? You'll need to register, you'll need licenses, and then you'll also need the capital to start up the business itself. You are a youth, you have no starting capital in itself, you're from campus, for example, you have bills waiting for you. Where exactly are you supposed to get all this to cater for you?
In August 2018, the Member of Parliament, Anthony Olwoch, Mathare North Member of Parliament, challenged the National Assembly to declare the unemployment as a national disaster. Is it really getting there?
Yeah, it is. But now it depends on what angle you're looking. Others are saying it's 55% unemployed youths. Others are saying 11%. Depends on what angle you're looking at. If you're saying 55%, then it's a crisis. If you're looking at the 11%, it's not a crisis. It's something manageable.
Okay, let me get to Geraldine. Geraldine, is it really a crisis, a national disaster?
Yeah, it is. Because currently, statistics show we are at about 10% of unemployment. And this means this is untapped potential one, but it's also a ticking time bomb. because these are, let's start with the educated and employed youth. These are people of integrity, people who know how to craft their way around the system and other things. Let's say, for example, if they got radicalized, just imagine what type of ticking bomb we would be having in our country.
And there's often the push, and Walter is here, he'll join us a little bit later in the discussion, but I don't want to absolve the youth entirely from this crisis on its own.
Yeah.
That what role then are they playing to get out of this crisis at an individual level?
Yeah.
It's easy to blame the government. Walter is here.
Yes.
We'll blame him a little bit later. But what can the youth do?
Being a youth leader in my county, I get to interact with different youth, and I have come to realize that they have the solutions to all these crises. For example, they are working very hard in the agricultural sector, and as we can see, there's the Big Four agenda where there's food security, and they're asking, can they be absorbed in the system? Yeah, so they are ready to work, and also if they got, you see, we are having the challenge.
They're ready to work. Are they ready to create these opportunities?
They are ready to create these opportunities. When the structures are set right, they have the vigor, they have the ideas. As long as the structures are okay for them in the system, then they are ready to work and create more employment too. Yeah.
Daniel, we talk of an untapped talent. This is a very resourceful number, a number that is many at times left unexploited. What advantages then can the youth add to the economy?
There's something that the presidential team, led by Mr. Walter Mongare,
who is here and will join us,
that they are creating known as creative economy. That's something that if they do and they actualize, something that will help our youths. Because there are many
creative economy, for just purposes of clarity, you mean exploiting the talents?
Exploiting the talents, music, arts, filming, plays, and the sorts. So there's something they're coming up with that's really good. So if that something is well actualized, it's something that will help our country.
And why should the youth be narrowed down to arts, music? It's few who are gifted. Why shouldn't they be in a position to say, yes, a young person can be the CEO of Kenya's biggest company?
Yeah, I think this is a danger of a single story, as Chimamanda Ngozi puts it. We've been seeing the youth as the only thing they can do since they are energetic. We classify them as just arts and all these things, and we can see also the discrimination that is there when applying for a job and they want 5-year experience to unfair experience. So they think that the youth do not have the capacity to be the CEO of a certain, to bring that fresh blood. But this is the danger of a single story, because this is the picture that over and over has been painted about who the youth are, that you cannot, without that experience, the job market, you can bring something quantitative to a company, which is not necessarily true.
Okay, Geraldine, let me still stick with you. You are the Kiambu youth leader.
Yes.
Many a times, and we have seen these youth leaders are accused of being in those positions to advance their own interest, neglecting the very youth that they should be representing.
I think I would want to know exactly what you mean by to push their own agenda, and because definitely one thing we have to agree, you cannot empower if you're not empowered yourself. So basically, what do you mean that they are only pushing for their own agenda?
That you are in those offices, you are in those positions as a person.
Yes.
With that power, that position,
and
your own interest, not necessarily the interest of young people.
Okay.
Not necessarily you as a person.
I understand. So I agree to some extent this happens, because in our community, in the fabrics of our society, we lack the king's men to evaluate what type of leaders we are having in the society, as previously there were. And so nowadays you'll find leaders have forgotten that leadership is a sacred trust. These people have given you the trust to go represent them, but nowadays we find our leaders lack that bit of understanding. It's not just about you, but it's about the youth.
And these leaders include the youth leaders, just to be fair.
It does. But it gets to a point that this person is also suffering as a youth, because they have tried to create their own space too,
And so as much as they're championing for everyone else, they are also suffering in their own capacity as a youth. And so at times it comes out as if they're just creating their own space and forgetting those people that gave their trust to them and chose them as their leaders.
Daniel, many a times we often hear of the government being told to invest in this, invest in this. Yeah. Why is the government, in your own view, not investing in young people?
They are investing in the young people. I wouldn't say they are not investing in the young people, because there's a kitty that's normally set aside that's known as Youth Fund, the Biashara Fund, which is now merging to become, I think, the Biashara Fund as one. So that's something that they're investing in the youth. I think what they are lacking not to do as a government is creating awareness to the youths that there's this kitty that's in place for you. If you want to run a successful SME and your proposal is legit, we can give you this kitty as a loan. That awareness is not in the public, because most of the youths that I meet and interact with, they don't know where I can access that money from. Even they don't know where the office of the Youth Fund is. And it has been in existence for more than 10 years, I think. So that awareness bit is what the government is lacking. But they've invested so much. I think each and every year they give about 3 billion for that. Yeah.
We'll question whether that 3 billion gets to young people's hand when Walter comes into the discussion. You wanted to comment on that as well?
Yeah, I wanted to comment. It's not just about the kitty and all that, because of late I've seen they've done something, I think, Kazina Business or some sort of, they're giving out money, but also they forget that there's that gap between the school system and the job market, and the youth lack the soft skill. So I think as much as they're giving priority to all this money and everything, they lack that training for the soft skill so that this money is put into the correct use. Because most of the time, I have seen myself working where we were giving out Biashara Fund, and you would find they have perfect business plans written, but the minute the money gets there, it gets into other uses which were not meant for it.
And who should incorporate this learning culture of guiding youth? Is it from the education sector, the schools, or we should have a parallel system of as well educating the young people on this?
For me, I think we should have a parallel system, creating incubation hubs and talent centers and learning centers outside from the school system is something that will help our youths understand the job market. Because you see, I'll give you an example of my own perspective. I learned actuarial science. But when I landed in the job market, that's when I understood I need to do certain papers for me to become an actuary.
Yeah.
In school, I'm doing my undergrad. I'm very happy. I know I'll get a job after this. But learning the job market, that's when I understand I need to do this and this and this and this for me to become an actuary. So those cannot be taught in school. If you've ever been to any public school, you're only given 10%. The rest is up to you to decide. So incubation centers are what can help our youths understand the job market and actually be accepted in the job markets. Yeah.
I agree with him, but not entirely a parallel system. We can also have some of this incorporated in the school systems. Not just, I feel most of the time the country forgets about the role the university plays in a young person's life. So we will be here developing the system in the primary education as it's changing. But then you find they'll go through all this, but we'll go to the same campus, the same system in the campus where they're not being prepared for the job market. So I think some of these things should be inculcated in the universities as much as we're having the parallel program after.
Fair enough. You've both alluded to one word that I've just written down of job markets. We go to school, schools, in fact, advertise on media telling the audiences that their graduates are ready for the job market.
Yes.
When someone goes to school with a notion that is getting to a job market, then they fail to get to that job market. Doesn't that cause a frustration at an individual level?
It does. But you see, as an employer also, there are things that you need to focus. You're not there to make losses, neither are you to waste time. You're there to make money and progress as a business. So the pupils that come out of the universities level or the college level, they're not yet prepared for the job market. So as an employer, what I'll see, I look for someone who is experienced more than 10 years rather than employing someone who's fresh from campus. Because one, I don't want to waste time training this person. One, I'm investing so much in the business. So I cannot invest so much on you instead of you coming and help me. So that's why I'm telling you, incubation centers will help these youths. Once you transit from university, you go into the incubation center for 6 months, you understand the job market.
You're reminding me of the proverbial saying of we are looking for a 24-year-old with 14 years experience. It's time for us to take a short break here on Midweek. We'll be back after this break with more in this discussion. Stay tuned. Don't go too far.
Kila kitu unachokiona hapa kimsingi sisi ndisi wenye kukitengeneza.
Bora biashara ya Panesa inaendelea kufanya vizuri. Nafurahi. Na pia kwa kuwa niko hai. Kwa hakika, siwezi taka biashara ya Panesa ianguke au kukosa kufaulu chini ya uongozi wangu.
Kila kitu ni nidhamu. Maisha ni jambo kubwa, bali nidhamu inahitajika. Unataka kufanya nini maishani? Sidhani ni kuwa mwajiriwa. Iwapo utalalamika kuhusu unachofanya, utakuwa unalalamikia nini? Chagua kufanya jambo, na iwapo hautafurahia kulifanya, basi liache na ufanye jambo jingine.
And if you're not enjoying it, leave it, move on to something else.
Twende sasa.
Nipe countdown. 2, 1.
Nakuletea matangazo moja kwa moja kutoka kongamano la 6 la ugatuzi hapa Kirinyaga County.
Hapa ni mjini Meru.
Tupo katika eneo la Wetavia County ya Kiambu.
Hivi leo tuko Nairobi Cinema.
Hapa ni Kina. Ukipenda Kinango.
Kuja tu pigania na hiki. Thank you. Check 1 2.
Usiwake hiyo timu ipate.
Huyu amekataa. Tafuta mwingine maisha isonge mbele.
Mabadiliko haya yangali yanazua msuke baina ya washikadau.
Baadhi ya changamoto hizo zilikuwa ni kama vile ukosefu wa maarifa.
Wameweza kupeperusha bendera ya Kenya.
Tutaingia kwenye mapumziko kidogo.
Chavi! Na hii mpenzi mtazamaji, ndio
TV47
macho na sauti yetu.
Katika kaunti 47, mitaa mbalimbali, watu wana mitazamo tofauti.
Wajana ni wengi, kama maisha kama huyu amekataa, tafuta mwingine, maisha isonge mbele.
Kisiasa,
naweza sema shida kubwa iliyoko kwenye sheria ya Kenya ni idara ya mahakama.
Masuala ya jamii.
Sasa anamdanganya na ako na familia yake. Kwa hivyo sasa hawezi chunga familia na achunge msichana.
Mitindo pamoja na kibiashara.
Nikikaa nikwambie, wewe unipeleke na Rieng.
Nipeleke na Rieng. Rieng. Tunatembea pamoja katika kila kitongoji kusikiliza semi zao. Ungana nami Tony Mwirigi tupige gumzo pamoja ndani ya 47 mtaani, hapa TV47, macho na sauti yetu.
Wiki hii katika mizani ya afya.
My God, I think my son took augmentin.
Nafikiri mtoto wangu alipewa dawa nyingi hadi ulifika wakati dawa ziliacha kufanya kazi.
Unapoona hizi dalili, kimbiza mtoto hospitalini mara moja.
Tutajadiliana kuhusu ugonjwa wa pumu na jinsi ya kukabiliana nao. Jiunge nasi.
Kila kitu unachokiona hapa kimsingi sisi ndisi wenye kukitengeneza.
Bora biashara ya Panesa inaendelea kufanya vizuri. Nafurahi. Na pia kwa kuwa niko hai. Kwa hakika, siwezi taka biashara ya Panesa ianguke au kukosa kufaulu chini ya uongozi wangu.
Kila kitu ni nidhamu. Maisha ni jambo kubwa, bali nidhamu inahitajika. Unataka kufanya nini maishani? Sidhani ni kuwa mwajiriwa. Iwapo utalalamika kuhusu unachofanya, utakuwa unalalamikia nini? Chagua kufanya jambo, na iwapo hautafurahia kulifanya, basi liache na ufanye jambo jingine.
And if you're not enjoying it, leave it, move on to something else.
Twende sasa.
Nipe countdown. 2, 1.
Nakuletea matangazo moja kwa moja kutoka kongamano la 6 la ugatuzi hapa Kirinyaga County.
Hapa ni mjini Meru.
Tupo katika eneo la Waitavia County ya Kiambu.
Hivi leo tuko Nairobi Cinema.
Hapa ni Kina, ukipenda Kinango.
Usiwache hiyo timu ipotee.
Kama huyu amekataa, tafuta mwingine, maisha isonge mbele.
Mabadiliko haya yangali yanazua msuke baina ya washikadau.
Baadhi ya changamoto hizo zilikuwa ni kama vile ukosefu wa maarifa.
Wameweza kupeperusha bendera ya Kenya.
Tutaingia kwenye mapumziko kidogo.
Chavi! Na hii mpenzi mtazamaji, ndiyo
TV47,
macho na sauti yetu.
Bila shaka mtaka cha mvunguni shati ainame. Hivi ndivyo mambo yalivyo katika kuanza na kuboresha biashara. Kipindi cha biashara za familia kitaangazia biashara zilizofua dafu na zinamilikiwa na familia.
Working with the family.
Kufanya kazi na familia si rahisi. Manake wakati mwingine wanakufinya na pia wana matarajio mengi.
They expect much from you.
Ungana nami Vanessa Ndavi ndani ya TV47, tutalii bahari hii pamoja.
Reminder of who my guests are. We have a third one in studio, at least as of now, to my immediate left, Walter Mwangare Senior. Many thanks for making time for us. Daniel Kibet, the Executive Director, Ubuntu Vijana Foundation. Geraldine Muiruri as well, who is the founder, Mamia's Touch, and Kiambu Youth Leader. And just to add as a footnote, perhaps, Walter is the Deputy Director, Youth Program Office of the President. Walter, let me get you to this discussion. Do you really think there is, in the first place, a crisis?
Yeah, I was watching you guys when I was coming here, and thanks for what you call digital presence, that we can watch you anywhere. So I nearly caused some mayhem in the road, but I was following. I agree with you on one aspect, that we need to treat the youth employment, not unemployment. We need to treat youth employment as a primary concern. And that means the only reason why I would ask my boss, who's the president, to treat it as a crisis is so that then it benefits from the emergency kitty of government. The only way we can accelerate and have transformational approach to the youth issues, and particularly employment, is if we make the youth employment or youth empowerment a national disaster.
Fair enough, Walter.
Yes.
For how long then will this be benefiting from the emergency kitty?
The moment, if we all understand how the emergency aspect operates, it's elevated from the normal procedure and government operations and bureaucracy. That's the only reason why we would advocate for that. Yes.
The Youth Fund, the Kenya Youth Enterprise Development Fund, was set up in 2006. Daniel alluded to it being more than 10 years. It's actually from 2006 till now. Is it benefiting the young people?
I would look at it from different angles. Number one, what was the youth fund meant to do? What are their terms of references? And how much of it are we interacting with the product that is youth fund? And earlier on, as you were having the conversation in terms of who's a youth, the definition of a youth in our context in Kenya is 18 to 35 by the constitution. And so for the last 10 years, there are success stories. And I agree with Dan when he said earlier that as government we've not done well in terms of advocacy. We've not done well in terms of putting the word out there, and that is something that we can be held accountable. Not necessarily be blamed, but be held accountable too, because every time every crisis gives us an opportunity to go forward. Yeah, so it's my belief, and I think majority of us can go to the website of Youth Fund, and you can be able to get statistics, accurate statistics, because I guess the discussion right now, it's not just on Youth Fund, but all other interventions that as government we are putting in place.
Daniel, we hear of success stories courtesy of these government-driven funds, aids and grants from the government. But these few success stories cannot surely be used as a caveat to show the success of young people, is it?
Okay, now the problem with the success stories of Youth Fund, why it's so minimal, is most youth
and other funds aimed at uplifting the young people.
The problem with the youths, those that I've interacted with, what normally happens is they come, I meet Walter Mungare, I meet Madam, then we're like, guys, let's start a youth group. They have no agenda, they have no motion, they have no strategic plan, they don't know what they want to achieve. They go and borrow the Youth Fund, come, invest in whatever they're investing. They don't have a clear plan and the clear goal that they want to achieve. So they will never come up to the optimum goal that they wanted to achieve, if there was any, because they have no clear guidelines of what they need to achieve. So as Youth Fund, they need to do first is do a training for those youth groups. They understand, I'm giving you this as a loan, not as a grant. You know, one thing those youth groups, they don't understand is, this is not a grant, it's a loan.
You have to pay.
So at the end of the day, you're supposed to pay. But if you're not achieving anything, how will you pay that loan?
But why should we give young people who are not having an idea as such?
But you see, it was meant for that. If your proposal is right, but you don't have a clear plan, I'll give you the loan. So it's a matter of coming and training the youths on how you'll achieve your goals. I've given you the loan, yes, but how will you achieve the loan so that you'll pay me back my loan? So that's what the government should try and do.
Walter, you are the Deputy Director, Youth Programs Office at the Office of the President.
Yes.
What are you doing more than just giving out the money in these structures? What is the government doing to make sure that this money is invested properly by young people?
I would use this opportunity to just highlight that, number one, we have a Ministry of Youth that has an executive order to coordinate all the aspects of youth. In the Office of the President, what we offer is the overall coordination of every other ministry. Why? Because, number one, the youth are not just a sector. The youth are in agriculture, youth are in innovation, youth are in ICT. And so for us at the presidency, our job is to take the new angle of it takes all of us to fix the youth agenda. And therefore we can't leave it to just a ministry. There's private sector. There is you as civil society organizations. There are Geraldine, who are great people from the ground who have new innovative ideas. So our job at the Office of the President is to bring all of us together collaboratively so that we look at not small scale, not small program support, but large scale support that is transformational. That is what my role and the role of the Office of Youth Programs at the Presidency. Having said that, the aspect of Youth Fund, the reality is, and that is what I said, we must be held accountable as a government. As Dan says, there's no point for us to give you loan and a loan, and then after that we have to follow you to pay because we didn't help you with the incubation process. Looked at your idea, do what we call stake equity approach, where we work with you up to the point you're off the wood,
and then we
and if
get
you were
return
to do
on
that, will
investment.
that yield a success?
Of
Do you think
course,
it will?
of course, that is a guarantee. And that is what Youth Fund should have been done. And I think in this country, we politicize everything. And so sometimes, and I will blame you to some extent shortly, yourself and Geraldine and him, why I think, like when we are seated over here, how sensational are we with information? Are we giving factual information out there to help the young people? When we sit on a panel like this, there's somebody who's watching us wanting to hear something that it can hold on to as hope. But we end up selling hopelessness, right?
No, at the end of the day, we don't want as well to be exclusively reporting on hope. If there is no hope, you report on that no hopeness, isn't it? You can't blame one side for reporting what it is.
I'm not blaming you. I'll hold you accountable, and I'll tell you how.
Fair enough. Walter spoke of, Geraldine, Walter spoke of the structures, the ministry, we have these offices. Is there a disconnect then between these offices and the young people?
Yeah, I agree. Because from the ground, every day I'm interacting with different youths, and what is coming out is that there are no structures. There are no structures for them. There are no structures that are promoting the work they do, that are giving them a conducive environment to carry out business as young people. There are no structures that are promoting, both in the private and the public sector, promoting the informal sector for them. They've not taken it up as something that will thrive, that will create employment for them. And
when you say there are no structures, yet there are structures, the meaning here is the impact of those structures are not felt.
The impact is not
if
felt.
the people in these structures are not getting to the youth, don't the youth have a responsibility to forge ahead and get to these structures, demand from these structures?
They do. But you see, as he said, most of the things are politicized. So if you come out strongly demanding for this and that, and then
you're pro someone.
Yes, you're pro someone, or not just that. You want to vie for a certain seat. That's why you're being vocal.
I want to pick on her word, demand. You see, the Constitution gives any young person a right to decent livelihood. The reality is that the opportunities are available as small and fewer than the number of people that they need to serve. And therefore, we have to graduate our demand of rights to negotiations. How do we negotiate, and with our young people, how do we negotiate to get what you want? Because ultimately, we can demand, but it's not getting there, or you can negotiate and you get there.
So we can as well negotiate and not get there.
It's a question of, no, the chances are if you're a good negotiator, you'll get there. If you demand, then it puts you on a fight mode. I'm encouraging us to dialogue and negotiate. The structures you're talking about, the youth agenda is not devolved, but county governments have set youth departments. What we are looking for is collaboration. That instead of us as national government trying to put a youth empowerment center, how do we work with Baringo County, for example, who have a youth center, so that our money that we were to build a youth center, we do the soft aspect onto that youth center.
Walter, the notion here is we are not questioning whether the structures exist. We are questioning whether the structures are functioning. In this sense, that the structures many a times are there for purposes of formality, to look as though they are working for young people.
Not formality. The structures are put in place to offer a guidance and solution. The policy, for example, the youth policy that is under review and should be kicking in anytime shortly, guides. Those are aspirations of our young people to a certain direction. So the policy being there, the ministry being there, the county government having put the structures are there. It's how do we utilize them that gives us the results.
The implementation of these policies. And that's what at the end of the day we are questioning, as I give Kibet a chance to Daniel.
I think for me, my disconnect, how I'm seeing the disconnect is so simple. You know, there's a difference between the millennials and the Generation X, and that's the clear difference that's hindering our youths from getting opportunities in government. For example, a youth will come, he has won rugged, but has talent. But accessing Mungare will be an issue.
Why? Because he's ragged.
He's ragged.
But
what I'm trying to advise, I'm just using an example. Most of our office bearers in the government,
most of them,
they're people above 45.
Okay.
So understanding the aspect of our youths in this time of generation is quite difficult. What I'll advise the government is try to understand our youths. We can't live the way you guys used to live when you're at 40s.
And also, we've been talking about let's negotiate, let's sit on the table. So our minds are ready for these negotiations, but we can't just apply that, be patient and negotiate. We have to demand, at the same time, we have to take direct action to open the door, to be the key to this negotiation.
Fair enough. You say you are ready for negotiations.
Yes.
Each side is taking something to the table.
Yes.
What are young people taking on the table? As Walter answers, what the government will take on the table.
They're putting
the
ideas.
young people have ideas. The young people have the energy, and they are ready. They are ready to be involved. If they are involved, then they are ready to work. They are ready to give their all into this, their energy, their time. But then, when do we start the negotiations? Because we'll keep saying we will do it, we will do it, we will do it. So when?
As we speak, we are negotiating on this table, and that's why we're getting way forward.
Yeah.
But I want to throw it to you, as young people. Is this about the government, or is it about livelihood? Is it about the government doing something for you, or is it about putting food on the table? If the argument is to put food on the table and get opportunities, then it's about you.
Yeah.
When you come onto the table, it's not about the government. The government's role is very minimal.
Yeah.
Create an enabling environment, create structures in place to enable you to thrive.
True.
But it's not the role of, the hunger is not on government, and government is faceless. Today I'm in charge, tomorrow I'm not.
It could be a young person who is the president tomorrow, below 24.
Sure.
Fair enough. And when you say it's not specific,
it's about livelihood.
It's about livelihood.
That's what it is.
You say it's about livelihood. Fair enough. Young people are told to come to the table.
Yeah.
They have their brilliant ideas, as brilliant as they may be.
Yes.
But is there an ear listening to these ideas?
I'm more so into.
Can I give you
solutions.
several ears that are listening? For example, number one, we realize that the education system has been a great impediment to development, and that's why, as government response to the to what you call competency-based curriculum, where we look at what you have as opposed to the academic angle. Done, check in place. The Kenya Youth Employment Empowerment and Opportunities Program, which is a World Bank funded program. We've realized that majority of the young people who have been churned from the universities do not match the skills that are required in the field. So we've had to invest as a government to retrain you, to make you suitable for the
Walter, what we are questioning
Can
is
I
not
give you more?
Yes,
because I think you need that. Yeah, so that anyone watching knows exactly that we've put programs in place to assist. Yes, but
awareness is a problem.
No, it's not a question of asking whether the talent and the brilliance exists. The question is, are there other platforms that this talent can be advanced?
You want me to carry on with the list? Yes, I can. The Ministry of ICT, the Ajira platform, which responds to what you're talking about, young people who are different and who are innovative and doing things differently from what we used to do. 50% of the jobs that we used to go to school to learn are phased out. And I gave an example the other day of a typist. Kitambo in government, you needed to write by hand and give that to a typist to type and then bring it printed. My friend, everybody now has a device that they don't need that typist. But you've gone to university, these quack universities, and you've learned you have a degree in typing. Where are you taking it?
Quack universities?
Yes, I call them quack universities because part of the problem that we are experiencing as a country right now is everybody turned to be a university. And so everybody took our young people to theoretical classrooms, which have got no skills on them.
Daniel, we were told growing up, and as we grow up as well, that education is the key to success.
It's not the key to success. We look at
Thanks,
this angle.
It's not the key to success for government.
It's not the key to success. That's something by the me. I'm doing ICT right now, and I'm running a foundation. It's nothing related to actuarial. Nothing related to actuarial. But my degree is actuarial.
Doesn't that question
Another
the necessity
thing,
of
Bill
them
Gates.
going to school? If at all,
Bill
I'm
Gates.
going to school and education is not the key to
It's
success.
not the key. What it gives you a platform to negotiate.
And this also brings me to, you say you've started by the CBC curriculum, yes, but I think we've forgotten the role universities play, because this child goes through this CBC system in primary school, but we still go to the same system of the university at the end of the day.
I will take that to partner with you as TV47.
Yes.
That's why I hold you accountable to put the right information out there. For example, CBC as it is, please find time through your TV station, put an exposure out there of what CBC is all about.
And I want to challenge
it's
you.
about what you have.
And I want to challenge you that we have
Encourage
a show.
me.
Challenge you rather.
Okay.
That we have a show named Elimu na Walimu that
Yes.
focuses on education matters.
Yes. Yeah.
Through that, we 1 hour weekly decimate information that is of importance to you.
Great, awesome.
Point clear.
Noted.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that the aspect of university is to actually socialize you. That's what you are supposed to get out of there. Be able to network, be able to get exposure. Earlier on, we were talking about the developed world versus the Kenyan market as a developing country. In America, a young person can get a driving license at 16. That is not the same case in Kenya. So when we do these statistics of unemployment rates being over 40%, they're first exaggerated. Two, those figures are not accurate and they're not correct. That's sensational. So the reality is...
But what is correct is that young people are crying for jobs.
I want to ask the young people, and I want to ask Geraldine.
And we had a fair few of them on screen a little bit earlier telling us of their historical background. And
I'll just carry the spirit of Deputy President and blame you and tell you as the media, you are to blame because you are airing sensational stuff versus the young people who are doing something.
What is sensational in airing people who are queuing up?
This is what it is.
Telling us
that
they have tried this, knocked doors, doors that are not open.
Let me answer
yet
that.
they are.
Please do. Please do.
I'll answer it as an employer. You'll come fresh from campus, like that guy who was aired at Citizen. He's an actuary. But you know, he didn't understand, for you to become an actuary, you need to have done 15 papers that are UK-based. For me to hire as an actuary, you need to have completed that one and be chartered as an actuary.
Okay.
So it's upon you as a student to have completed those papers to come and apply for those jobs.
So that you're marketable.
And that's a single point that you are pointing to. There are millions of young people who have graduated,
even lawyers,
papers, done all those courses.
Sensation is airing, maze tunatafuta job, hatujapata job, and that guy has only distributed his CV twice. But because he had the opportunity
50 times?
The thing is this, that is why I said, is it about government or is it about you? When it's about you, then you've got to be tactical. You've got to change strategy where it's not working. You've got to, look at what is it that I have, what skill do I have. For example, I'm a comedian. I didn't go to university to study comedy. I did fine art at Kenya.
Despite sounding so serious in this interview.
Exactly, because I'm a serious government.
But also we can bring you see, recently we had that advertisement for a hotel and more than 100,000 people applied for 10 positions.
Yes.
We also had the story he's given, someone came on TV and so they were aired and there were 16 actually job openings. And so out of that, he'll choose one. So what happens to that?
This is what I'll tell you, and I want us, and I wish you can give us like 2 hours. The reality in kwamba, guys are moving into looking for any job so that they can earn a living. So when you see 100 people coming to line up for that job, it's not that they have what the employer is looking for.
Exactly.
They are looking for a job so that they can earn. The employer
And
is looking for a skill.
there is something that is getting them to that moment of desperation.
Taking anything.
And that's guaranteed. And that's what we said when we began. The number of people that we are churning out of our institutions of learning are not commensurate to the opportunities that can be created. That means we need to be creative in the manner that we are doing things. And we can talk about the creative economy, for example.
Fair enough, and I have that as a point that I'll love us to address. Daniel, we talk of Kenya's economy growing, but this seemingly is not translating to the number of people who are getting a job.
You know, when you look at the economy, you might think I'm from government, but I'm not from government. I like being factual. The economy looks at different perspectives. You look at the GDP, you look at inflation rates, and things like those. So if you look at the aspect of unemployment and then you peg it to the growth of the economy, then you're lying to the people. Because if you look at the GDP, it grew by 2%.
But how does someone who is jobless, seated somewhere, being told that Kenya's economy is doing good, understand that there is a disconnect between the two?
Earlier on,
it sounds
the
very...
government owes you nothing. And I always tell my youths, the government owes you nothing.
Despite after you hustling, getting a job, paying tax.
And then it chases you away, come and tell me.
The government owes you nothing despite you hustling, struggling for all these years to get a job.
Creating an enabling environment.
Yeah, true. But I agree.
And structures in place.
If they reduce those licenses, those taxes.
Exactly.
And then they tell you, for a period of 1 year, you'll be paying a corporate tax of 20% rather than 35%. The licenses that you're being paid, you're giving a grace period of 1 year. Then that's what the government owes the Kenyans.
Geraldine, you are Kiambu youth leader. Let's talk of the question of youth representation. Over the years, the number of people who say they are representing the youth, be it elected or otherwise, has risen.
Yeah.
Is this translating to advocacy of youthful issues?
Okay, through the years, what I've seen mostly is, as much as they are creating the awareness and advocacy, it gets to a point that all you can do is talk about it and not do much. It ends up to being awareness most of the time.
If at all these leaders, these youth leaders are talking about the problems of young people, and these are problems young people are going through, and they clearly know their problems.
Yes, they do.
And the issues the leaders are doing
they
is to talk about.
They also know solutions, surprisingly. The young people know the solutions. Like when I had this conversation with them about unemployment and employment, they would give the challenge, yes, and they would give the solution. Like they really know the government does not owe them much. They know the government owes them policies that will champion for their market to grow. They have asked if there was a way that the government would protect the domestic market so that they can be better placed in the job market. They have asked if they could be involved in the agricultural sector more as the youth. So basically, it's not that they're waiting and sitting and waiting for the government to do everything for them. But what they're asking is an enabling environment.
And unfortunately, that's how it looks.
They know they have their part to play. All they are asking for is an enabling environment for them to be successful in whatever they have.
Kibet, let me give Kibet a chance. Okay. Can this enabling environment be created through an otherwise option rather than just focusing on the government?
Yeah, as a civil society, we try so much to create the enabling environment by creating awareness to the youths. Like we personally, we create the awareness that this and this and these sites could help you as a youth in getting the capital that you require to start a business. Also, there are things, the problem with the youths is they don't do research. Like there's certain enabling environment that were created in this budget, this current budget. For example,
sorry, we'll sort that out.
The PS and the CS for Treasury, they remove the tax for all the motherboards that are being created in Kenya. If you ask the youths outside, they don't know.
And the reason why they don't know is when they go to the platforms of social media, the activities they spend time on is not commensurate to what they're looking for. And we cannot blame them solely, and I want to say we all must be held accountable. When I go to the internet and search for a rental car, the next time I log in to my portal, what I see on the sidebar is several rental companies popping up. And I think as a government, if we are compassionate about our young people, we need to also know what are they searching for, what are they looking for. If somebody search for an accounting job, the next time they log in, I want through their Jira platform to be able to populate their portal with the opportunities in accountancy that are existing. And that is what I'm saying. It takes all of us to start looking at providing young people with solutions and hope, because we, more often than not, we sell now versus tomorrow. The competency-based curriculum does not kick in when it starts. The effect of that is 10 years from now. So as Walter Mongare, what I do right now is not to invest in now, because the now is done. 10 years from now, all the interventions we are putting in place must therefore translate to some value in another 10 years.
And do you think the 10-year investment that was made before the last decade has made its investment?
Yes, certainly.
You surely think?
And the economic indicators are there to show. Yes.
Fair enough. Let's talk of the question of underemployment. We hear the notion of kazi ni kazi, despite you going to school to study whatever you want. If someone who is an expert in an area, who has gained the professional qualification to be in an area, is told you do whatever will give you a bread on the table, isn't that fairly discouraging?
I always tell my youths, it's about passion. For you to wake up at 6 and go to bed at 12 midnight, it's about passion.
But that passion must pay at an end.
For sure, if you're passionate, it will pay. I'm passionate about ICT and it pays. but I wasn't passionate about actuarial. So for sure, I could be frustrated now and then.
You went to school because your dad wanted
Actually,
you to be
no,
an
I was chosen. I was chosen.
I
I was chosen, and then I researched. I was like, what job will pay me more? So I researched. I saw at US, actuarial science, you're paid about 450,000 for starters. So I was like, yeah, this is the job. But
that was the US. You
Yeah.
forgot. You forgot that.
This is Kenya.
You forgot that we are in Nairobi, Kenya.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's about passion.
It's about passion.
Yeah.
Even though, Geraldine, many a times we hear that, come work for the passion, it will pay when you get old. Fed in your youthful years.
Yeah, true. And because most of the time at my organization, Mommy's Touch, we're basically dealing with young mothers who, well, it's about the passion, but here you are. It's not just about you and your passion. You have another person who relies on you solely to feed them, take them to hospital, do all these things. So now, to what extent is this passion going to pay you, and to what extent do you need to start providing for those others looking at you?
Good. Passion cannot as well be delinked from the creative economy, an economy that has largely relies on passion. Why does it seem as though when someone looks for a job and they don't get it, they're told, use your talent?
Yeah.
Everyone wants the youth to be either a musician, an actor, play some instrument and make some money. Yet everyone is not talented, to be fair.
Let me put it this way. The creative economy is an employer of every single minute, but it's not quantified. The guys and the ladies who are standing behind those cameras are creatives.
And very able.
All right? And so right now as we speak, there's somebody doing something in the creative industry, but it's not documented. When we talk about you being a musician, we don't want you to sing. Because being a musician, you have managers, you have producers, you have people marketing your product. So you create another umbrella of opportunities for other people. So when we want you to be in theater, in comedy, we're not asking you to be funny. We're asking you to bring your business acumen onto the business of comedy because it has to sell. So the creative economy is the next frontier. And the creative economy, which is under the creative industry, means when there's a problem and a challenge, somebody has to think and give us a solution. And that's an industry that will never die.
The next frontier, in what sense is it the next frontier?
It remains the previous, present, and tomorrow frontier, in the sense that tomorrow we will be thinking of how do we generate water in an environment that is a desert. That's creativity, and that is innovation. And that is why when there's a problem, the creative aspect checks in. So it's an enabler to any opportunity you're looking for. That's how we call it the next frontier.
And Daniel, are we ready to accept creativity socially as a means of getting bread on table?
We are. I look at the ICT angle now, being an innovation angle. Certain careers and certain jobs are being faded out because of innovation and creativity. There are certain solutions that are coming up that I don't need an accountant. If I have an enterprise resource planning system,
that's it.
It will run everything, my payrolls,
automated,
my budgets, everything. So as a country,
your creativity at the expense of someone else.
It's nothing like expense.
It's a business.
You need to adapt. And that's the reason why the youths are lacking jobs, because they are not adapting to what is coming.
And then I think it's because creativity has been solely defined as arts. So when you talk about creativity, there's that single story of it's music, it's drama, it's comedy. But as he's put it, it's not just that. This is a dry place, we need water. What's the creativity in this, in developing that water? You see, so I think he's right. We are ready, and I think we have brilliance. The youth, as we've said, they're energetic, they're creative, they're innovative. I think we are ready.
I just
are we failing to use the innovation, the creativeness of these young people?
We're not failing, because any solution you come up with, anything you come up with, it has to give you a personal solution. I become creative because I want to feed. It's not to feed the government. It's not to feed Geraldine. So to some extent, no one is to blame for you being hungry. It's yourself. Because who wants to eat? Is it me or your neighbor?
That's me.
So those are the questions that we must begin to ask ourselves if we are honest with ourselves. And that's how you begin to find solutions as a country. Because it's about you, not about her or him or yourself.
Daniel?
Same thing. I'll always say, no one will force you to eat, no one will force you to sleep. It's upon you to decide. Do you want to eat? Do you want to become a billionaire? Do you want to become a millionaire? Do you want to still become existent in the country? It's upon you to decide. So if you don't want to decide, then the government won't help you. You'll be given water, but you won't be forced to drink that water. Solutions will come.
I saw that clip of this young man who took us through a tour of this is how, this is where I live, it's so bad, and I don't like it. And my question was, okay, you don't like it, so what have you done about it? So whose responsibility is it? And two, when you're trash talking where you live, there are people who live where you live. It may not be dignified, but there are people who live there. So my thought here is, yes, the dignity aspect has to check in. We appreciate that you've gone to school, you've learned something. And as a government, we just want to ensure that we partner with as many people so that we create dignity for our young people who have got some level of knowledge.
Fair enough, and we'll talk of that partnership a little bit later. It's time for us to take a short break here on
Why are we going for a
Midweek.
break?
We'll be back after this break.
I saw somewhere. Does this?
Bila shaka mtaka cha mvunguni shati ainame. Hivi ndivyo mambo yalivyo katika kuanza na kuboresha biashara. Kipindi cha biashara za familia kitaangazia biashara zilizofua dafu na zinamilikiwa na familia.
Working with the family.
Kufanya kazi na familia si rahisi, manake wakati mwingine wanakufinya na pia wana matarajio mengi.
They expect much from you.
Ungana nami Vanessa Ndavi ndani ya TV47, tutalii bahari hii pamoja.
So nilianza kuokota tu kidogo kidogo, najipata nimetengeneza kitu. Kutengeneza remote, kutengeneza remote za kwanza, sasa tunataka zilikuwa za cotton. Sasa cotton aje? Zilikuwa tumetengeneza na cotton. Na nini na vifuniko.
Kwa miaka 14. Ulijulia vipi vitu zote? Anataka kuwa daktari wa chuma. That was in him all through. I know atanibeba kwa ndege.
Kila kitu unachokiona hapa kimsingi sisi ndisi wenye kukitengeneza.
Bora biashara ya Panesa inaendelea kufanya vizuri. Nafurahi. Na pia kwa kuwa niko hai. Kwa hakika, siwezi taka biashara ya Panesa ianguke au kukosa kufaulu chini ya uongozi wangu.
Kila kitu ni nidhamu. Maisha ni jambo kubwa, bali nidhamu inahitajika. Unataka kufanya nini maishani? Sidhani ni kuwa mwajiriwa. Iwapo utalalamika kuhusu unachofanya, utakuwa unalalamikia nini? Chagua kufanya jambo, na iwapo hautafurahia kulifanya, basi liache na ufanye jambo jingine.
And if you're not enjoying it, leave it, move on to something else.
Wiki hii katika mizani ya afya.
My God, I think my son took augmentin.
Nafikiri mtoto wangu alipewa dawa nyingi hadi ulifika wakati dawa ziliacha kufanya kazi.
It was either augmentin or Zinat.
Unapoona hizi dalili, kimbiza mtoto hospitalini mara moja.
Tutajadiliana kuhusu ugonjwa wa pumu na jinsi ya kukabiliana nao. Jiunge nasi.
Twende sasa.
Nipe countdown. 2, 1.
Nakuletea matangazo moja kwa moja kutoka kongamano la 6 la ugatuzi hapa Kirinyaga County.
Hapa ni mjini Meru.
Tupo katika eneo la Wetavia, kaunti ya Kiambu.
Hivi leo tuko Nairobi Cinema.
Hapa ni Kina, ukipenda Kinango.
Usiwache hiyo dream ipotee.
Kama huyu amekataa, tafuta mwingine, maisha isonge mbele.
Mabadiliko haya yangali yanazua msuke baina ya washikadau.
Baadhi ya changamoto hizo zilikuwa ni kama vile ukosefu wa maarifa.
Wameweza kupeperusha bendera ya Kenya.
Tutaingia kwenye mapumziko kidogo.
Chavi! Na hii, mpenzi mtazamaji, ndio
TV47,
macho na sauti yetu.
nimeanza kuokota tu kidogo kidogo, najipata nimetengeneza kitu. Kutengeneza remote, kutengeneza remote za kwanza, sasa tunataka zilikuwa za cotton. Sasa
Cotton aje?
Zilikuwa tumetengeneza na cotton. Na nini na vifuniko.
Kwa nani akafuti? Ulivyoelewa vipi zote?
Anataka kuwa daktari wa shuma. That was in him all through. I know atanibeba kwa ndege.
Wiki hii katika mizani ya afya.
My God, I think my son took augmentin.
Nafikiri mtoto wangu alipewa dawa nyingi hadi ulifika wakati dawa ziliacha kufanya kazi.
It was either augmentin or Zinat.
Unapoona hizi dalili, kimbiza mtoto hospitalini mara moja.
Tutajadiliana kuhusu ugonjwa wa pumu na jinsi ya kukabiliana nao. Jiunge nasi.
Twende sasa.
Nipe countdown. 2, 1.
Nakuletea matangazo moja kwa moja kutoka kongamano la 6 la ugatuzi hapa Kirinyaga County.
Hapa ni mjini Meru.
Tupo katika eneo la Waitavia, kaunti ya Kiambu.
Hivi leo tuko Nairobi Cinema.
Hapa ni Kina, ukipenda Kinango.
Usiwache hiyo timu ipotee.
Kama huyu amekataa, tafuta mwingine, maisha isonge mbele.
Mabadiliko haya yangali yanazua msuke baina ya washikadau.
Baadhi ya changamoto hizo zilikuwa ni kama vile ukosefu wa maarifa.
Wameweza kupeperusha bendera ya Kenya.
Tutaingia kwenye mapumziko kidogo.
Safi! Na hii, mpenzi mtazamaji, ndiyo
TV47,
macho na sauti yetu.
All right, welcome back to Midweek. Remember, the topic that we are discussing this morning is the unemployment crisis. Share with us your thoughts. If at all there is a crisis, now I understand we have less than 20 minutes. Let's finalize on this, and let me give the lady first a chance. I was asking you before we went for a break on a question of youth representation. Is our society mature enough to trust young people to hold offices?
No. I would go with no, not yet, but we are headed there. Although, because we can see, for example, in our parliament nowadays, we have the likes of Jaguar, Babu, Wino, you see, the young people. And reality is, in these offices, there is maturity, you know. As much as we want to say, yes, we should do for the young people and all these people, every office requires some type of experience to some extent, and what we need to do is find, maybe as we discussed earlier, the midpoint.
And the number of representation over the years has increased.
Yes, yes, it has.
Has this as well trickled down to the number of initiatives driven towards youth?
Yes, yes. We are not yet there, but we are headed there. This is something we can see in every election happening. We can see the number of the youth increasing in the offices. So to some extent, yes. And then it's all about the manifesto and what this young person is bringing to the table. It's not just being a representative of the youth by the mere fact that you're a youth. What are you bringing to the table? These are the questions the society is asking itself as we are electing this person, not just looking at the person on one aspect, but as a whole being. What are you bringing to the table?
For the last 1 hour, if not more, we have talked of the problems, we have talked of, Walter has talked of solutions as well, in as far as the funds are concerned. How do we get out then of this crisis? Daniel?
It depends on what problem you're trying to address. If there's a problem of job market, then create incubation centers. With the problem of also you create awareness, the government has to create awareness of the initiative that they have put in place for the youths, because most youths by then they don't understand and they don't know what's there for them. So it's a matter of creating awareness. Also, our education system, the government has tried so much with the curriculum-based curriculum. So that one is something that, a solution that has been put in place to solve this crisis. Because for sure, our education system was, it was, I wouldn't say pathetic, but it was bad. Yeah.
Walter, young people are often told that they should think beyond the box, have no limits in as far as their creativity, their talent is concerned, hence the generation unlimited.
Yes.
How is this going to impact the youth?
Number one, Generation Unlimited provides an opportunity for collaborations. CBOs, civil society organizations, private sector, philanthropists, governments, heads of states, and so trying to address the youth agenda from a collective perspective where it's for the transformational impact that we are looking at. Because what has happened initially, for example, the United Nations Development Support Program for Kenya, for a long time, there have been small program support. Each agency doing like a small thing on youth agenda. But now we are all beginning to think as one. That's what Generation Unlimited is all about, thinking together and thinking as one. With the question you asked in terms of leadership and inclusion of young people, the truth is young people are included. What we've seen is a question of we don't highlight it more often. And so that's the discrepancy, not because they are not included. Number two, when you are in a position of leadership, it requires a lot of wisdom. And wisdom comes honestly with some level of experience and maturity, as Geraldine said. And we're not saying that young people are not mature. We're not saying that young people are not wise. We're saying that certain responsibilities come with, when you're making a decision for millions of people, it's not your clique of friends. And so impulsiveness on young people is as, I mean, we've been young and
when continuously these aging people are given positions that otherwise one will say the youth deserve, doesn't that give the impression that the youth are left out?
Well, my boss, who's the global champion for young people's agenda, has a responsibility to answer that question. I would also sit there and look at an elderly person, and I would say, well, there's a reason and a purpose they are serving, but the question then we must ask ourselves, what are the alternative routes?
Can the youth be that alternative that you're asking?
But they are. The youth are an alternative. The youth are the frontiers. That is why we talk about our time, our turn, and our future. Because at the end of the day, the rest of us provide what you call intergenerational linkage. Tukusaidie tu kuvuka vile tushavuka. Nikikwambia hapo nishakanyaga before. Wewe unataka kufanya comedy. Comedy ni comedy, lakini sasa unataka kuchapa comedy ndio kuwe trendy, ndio make dough, na wengine tulichapa comedy to create an industry. Because 20 years on, we started something that was not there, but today is an industry. So those are the impartations that we are talking about in terms of mentorship of young people. Listen, sometimes you don't have to speak. Sometimes just do the listening. Because when your turn comes to speak, you'll speak with wisdom.
Fair enough, I believe they will. I understand we need to join our reporter Onsare, Josh Onsare, who is covering the pastoral communities dispute. This, of course, eliciting from the demand by the community representatives that the government implements the Community Act of 2016. Josh, if you can hear me, have they already presented their demands to the ministry?
Kwanza kabisa mwenzangu Abubakar, nimeweza kukupata kwa njia iliyo shwari. Tuko katika hii sehemu ya Ardhi House ambapo kuna jamii ambazo zimeweza kufika sehemu hii kuweza kuleta stakabadhi kuhusu zile sheria ambazo ni za ule umiliki wa mashamba ya kijamii, na masuala kama hayo ndo wameyaleta hapa, na wale viongozi wameweza kuingia kule ndani kwenye ofisi, na tumeambiwa ya kwamba kwa sasa hatuwezi kuingia kule kama wanahabari, lakini niko na baadhi ya wale ambao wanawakilisha ambao wako na mimi hapa, na tutakuwa tunapata mawili matatu nini kimewaleta hapa. Na usisahau ya kwamba hii sheria ya mashamba yale ya kijamii iliweza kupitishwa mwaka wa 2016 ambapo hiyo shamba inafaa ikuwe na zile sheria za kijamii ambapo mambo yanafaa yafanywe. Na vile vile niko na mmoja hapa, ningependa uweze kujitambulisha, utuambie wewe ni nani na tuweze kujua uko na yepi.
Kwa majina mimi naitwa John Oletingoi, nimetoka Laikipia, na tunafanya na our communities, ni wafugaji ambao wameishi katika mashamba ya kijamii. Na sasa vile hii sheria imekuwa sasa ni lazima wa register upya tena, na kuna yale mahitaji ambayo sheria wanahitajika kuifanya, na tumesaidiana nao mpaka wakawa sasa wamefaulu na wako na stakabadhi zote. So nia ya watu kuja huku ni kwamba kuna hiyo muda imewekwa na sheria ambao wanahitajika kuregister ama kusajili ardhi upya kulingana na Community Land Act 2016. So leo tuko na communities kutoka Laikipia, kuna communities kutoka Kipsing Isiolo, kuna communities kutoka Kajiado, kuna communities kutoka Turkana, na kuna pia communities kutoka pale Pwani, na wote wameshathibitisha kwamba wako na mastakabadhi zao zote. So wakilishi wao ama leaders wao wako pale ndani na wanaongoja ili waelezewe ni nini kutoka hapo ni nini. Kuna kitu moja ambayo sheria ilikuwa inasema community registrar alikuwa anapaswa aweke registrars katika kila county, ambaye ingekuwa au communities wanaenda katika county, lakini mpaka sasa serikali hawajafanya hivyo. Hiyo ndio tena swali moja ambaye wanauliza kwamba wako tayari, hakuna mtu anayesajili kule katika county, na sasa ndio wanakuja kuulizia hapa Nairobi katika ofisi ya CS kwamba wale communities wako tayari wangefanya nini, kwa sababu hiyo muda naye inaenda, na tunajua kwamba hiyo muda ikiisha community land itakuwa inamilikiwa na county government, ambaye sasa haitakuwa ni community wao wenyewe.
Labda swali la mwisho kuhusu hili swala ambapo mnasema kwamba kuna zile county, ukienda kwenye county mumeweza kusaidika?
Katika county hatujasaidika sana, manake wale hawana nguvu. Tumekuwa kwa maofisi katika county, kama kuna ofisi 3 ambaye kisheria wanapaswa kusaidia community. National Land Commission katika county, na ofisi ya county CEC wa land, na pia ofisi nyingine ni ya sub county. So tumeenda pale, lakini ni kama hawajapewa nguvu kutoka kutoka huku Nairobi. Yeah.
Na shukran sana kwa kuweza kuzungumza nasi. Na vile vile hivyo basi, mpenzi mtazamaji, umeweza kuyasikia vilivyo kutoka kwa mwakilishi kutoka eneo la Laikipia, na tutakuwa tunafuatilia hili swala kwa undani zaidi ili tuweze kubainisha mwelekeo utakuwa upi kutoka hapa, watatumwa wapi, ili tuweze kujua kama ili tatizo lao litaweza kutatuliwa kwa njia ambayo inafaa. Na kutoka kwangu na kurejesha moja kwa moja hadi kwenye studio zetu jijini Nairobi.
Well, many thanks, Joash. On Saturday, they're speaking to the community leaders who are presenting their demands, as they say, a word that one of my guests doesn't fancy, to the CS. Let's now as well cross over to Tony Mwirigi, who is covering the formation of the Multi-Sectorial Agency for Food Security. Tony, if you can hear me, how are things as of now on that end?
Getting you very clear from here in Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock here from Nairobi, whereby we had the conference concerning the safety of food here in Kenya. And some of the people that were here, or some of the people that were here from different ministry, including the permanent secretary, that is from Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock, that is the PS, that is Hari Kimutai, was here, and he talked about different things. But just to inform you, some of the issues that they were tackled is about the food security and the measures that the government has put to make sure there is no any illegal food that is getting in the country. Just to inform you also, we had different stakeholders or sectors that were here today to make sure that this conference was held very well, including the representative from different sectors, that is from CABE, that is Kenya Bureau of Standards, and also we had the representative from the Interior, that is the Ministry from Interior Affairs, that is we had the representative, and also we had the representative from different sectors, including the Ministry of Health, and also we had agriculture, different representative. And some of the issues that they tackle is about the stakeholders or those business people that they'll get those business people that they had, or the possession of the food that it had, or it has the low quality, and they'll take measures to make sure that the issue has been tackled from different ministry here in Kenya. Just to inform you, we'll be giving you update from here in Kilimo House, from these offices of Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock from here in Nairobi, whereby the conference is still going. But talking earlier on with the PS, he's just assured Kenyans that the government is making sure that each and every Kenya, the food that each and everyone who is getting, it is on the right track, and there is no any illegal food that they will be getting here in Kenya. Just to inform you, we'll be giving update on what is going on from here in Kilimo House in Nairobi. Back to you, Abubakar Abdullahi, from their studio.
Well, Tony, they say there is nothing that touches the heart of a man more than a food. Follow up that story and make sure you report on as it is. Thank you for that brief. I understand we have less than 4 minutes to end this discussion in studio. Let me start with you, because they say ladies first.
Men before.
If the youth have ideas and the government is ready, what kind of a relationship can we develop to enhance? Can the government develop? Can the youth develop to enhance their own ideas, creativity, be it at an individual level or as a group?
I feel that we should work on a human-centered model, in that as much to bridge this gap, we are creating awareness. Be it in the small, we start from every small ward to create this awareness that the youth have all these opportunities that the government has set for them, but also we as the youth have the responsibility to avail ourselves to learn on all the things that have been provided by the government, but this also to mean that the government has the right to create policies that enable the environment that we as the youth are operating on.
Fair enough, Daniel?
For me, I think the issue of unemployment should be addressed by all key players. The youths, the government, the private sector, the civil society. The government, provide enabling environment, create awareness. The youths, do research, try and see how you'll fit in the job market. The civil society, enhance what the government is doing. the private sector, incorporate the youths as much as you can.
Fair enough. Walter, let me flip that question. You are the Deputy Director of Youth Programs at the Office of the President.
Yes.
To a young person who is watching you
Yes.
now on TV47, what would you tell them?
First, salamu za President wenu Uhuru Kenyatta, anawasalimia na anawapenda. Number 2, we are opening our doors for linkages, for collaborations, for discussions to further even this conversation that we've had here. As a government, we are going to increase on the advocacy agenda and information sharing, and it's not a job that we need to do. It's a demand and a right of the people to provide information out there. But above all, I just want to ask the young people, what is it that you have that you can use? And I'm a Christian. I look at how Moses and God had a conversation. What is it that you have in your hand that can change the life that you have?
And on that biblical note, we end the conversation. Walter Mwangare, who is the Deputy Director of the Youth Programs Office of the President, Daniel Kibet, the Executive Director, Ubuntu Vijana Foundation, and Geraldine Muiruri, founder of Mommy's Touch and Kiambu Youth Leader.
And
gentlemen,
yourself.
Gentlemen and lady, thank you for making time for us. Well, that brings us to the end of today's edition of Midweek rather. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. Paul Kirobi is up next with Matukio Nyanjani. Stay tuned.
Wiki hii katika mizani ya afya.
My God, I think my son took Augmentin.
Nafikiri mtoto wangu alipewa dawa nyingi hadi ulifika wakati dawa ziliacha kufanya kazi.
It was either Augmentin or Zinat.
Please beware.